So like I said, what we're going to cover today is we're going to cover something really interesting. We're going to go from, and again, I'm not in my regular office, I'm in my home office. So we're going to be covering Christmas follow-up time, holiday season follow-up time. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. I'm very well aware of that. Thank you very much. But a lot of people do. So here's the thing that I'd like to talk to you about. We're going to rapid fire a bunch of different ways that I would script around how I do my follow-ups during the holiday season. One of the things I love about the holiday season, our coaching company does shut down from I think it's the 20th, right up until like the 4th, I think it is, of January. I think around there. Actually, I think we're going to be shutting down on the 22nd this year. So we're a little later in the shutdown period. We're only starting our business planning in 2 weeks. So the reason we're doing that is because I always tell you guys the market's on fire. So it's a really exciting market, just letting you know. Okay, so anyway, long story short, we're going to be covering a few of the things that you can do from now until the end of the year and even into the holiday season. So about up until about the second week of January. And the thing you always have to remember is that you're front loaded, like you're loading your clientele for the new year. But the most important thing that you have to remember is that there is a time period, like more people are going to be home, more people are answering their phones. And the holiday season usually, except for the minor, small percentage, usually makes people very happy. Okay, so I just have to be honest with you. I think that just from my own perspective, I love lead generating during the holiday season, but it's also the most important time to do good follow ups because it's a time where people are a little bit less stressed. I mean, they're happy stressed. Okay, let's be fair. But what also happens is they're more receptive to just opening up and saying, "Yeah, we're doing something. Follow up with me in the new year." It's mostly for follow-ups. During that peak time frame, I usually don't book a ton of appointments, but I do book a ton of follow-up calls, which is actually what the name of the game is. So let's start with a few. And if you, by all accounts, if you want to jump in and you want to do something today in the seriousness of time, because I would like to jump off at 7:30 tonight. The reason why is because if you are in Ottawa, just giving you a heads up, if you, I have a very busy week next week. I have the pleasure of being on Mark Ferris's podcast, one of the top agents in all of Canada, actually, in general, on Friday. On Thursday, I'm doing my first ever pop-up amazingness in Ottawa. On Tuesday, I'm with the Solid Rock crew in Ottawa, actually speaking to them. As well, on Tuesday, we're doing a pop-up open house session. So if you haven't seen our pop-up open house session, I'm plugging that right now. Most of you are all our clients or clients on teams that we coach, but our pop-up open house session is going to be off the hook, and that's on Tuesday for 30 minutes. It's going to be awesome. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to it. Okay, so first things first, the lead generation that you want to do. So for this lead generation that we're talking about for role playing, we're going to assume that you start around the 20th and then lead yourself all the way until about the 6th of January. So 20th of December to 6th of January. What do you want to do? Or even the week before, if you really want to start before, first thing I would do is I would do my check-ins. Okay, end of the year check-ins are really good. Now, here's another thing I'm going to say. When do you call? Somebody just sent me a private message on my screen. When do you call? It's a great question. So a lot of people ask me, well, when do you actually call? And that's pretty brilliant. So the only days I don't call really are the 24th and 25th. I'll usually wait a little bit on the 26th if I'm going to call, but the 24th, 25th, and half the day on the 26th. But on the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, those are the most epic holiday time frame to be doing your calls. So remember that. 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th are huge lead generation days. They're that gap in the middle of the two holidays where everybody's in that good mood, but not a lot of people are doing much, right? So it's a great time to call people. They're bored. Okay, so for me, I go all in on those days. So let's start with those days. What do? You just really pick up a phone. You don't assume everybody celebrates Christmas, but it's okay if you celebrate Christmas and you say something. I don't really think that anybody's ever gotten mad at me. If they do or don't, people just love it. It's a happy thing. Hey, Merry Christmas. So anyway, long story short, first thing I do on the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, when everyone is mostly happy, yeah, and I think that's it, Tanya. Like when everybody's happy, it's like, what are you doing? Right? Just be happy. So, okay. So anyway, it would go like this. Hey, Tanya, it's Marianne. I'm just reaching out to you. Happy holidays. Hopefully everything was awesome the other day. Yeah, it was great. Amazing. Good. Well, we're doing actually our end of the year calls, and we do this from the 27th to the 30th to try to catch you guys right in between just to see, are you going to need anything from us in 2025? Because if you do, we're going to be booking our appointments So I want to just make sure we don't miss you. Did you hear that? 3-part scripting. So 3 parts to it. Forget about the how is the holidays. Okay, that's natural. Okay, this is the only time I will reverse my opinion that you should say happy holidays before how are you. You'll always hear me say, never say how are you. Okay, I understand that. But in this case, I'm saying start off by saying happy holidays. Because if you don't, that's super weird, right? That's super weird. That's like having a giant snowstorm that put everybody in the house for a week and you're calling people as if you never, like you're not acknowledging it. Okay, so happy holidays, we got that. Okay, 3-part. First part is that, you know what, we're calling everybody because it's the end of the year and just want to see if you needed anything from us. Because if you do, we're scheduling our 2025 follow-ups. Simple as that. You don't want to miss them is the concept. You don't want to miss them in 2025. So you're just calling and asking, hey, gang, it's Marianne. Happy holidays. Hopefully everything was awesome last week. Cause yeah, it was great. How was yours? It was really awesome. Well, listen, we're calling everybody. We, between the 27th and the 30th, we're reaching out to everybody we know because we're checking in to see if you're going to need anything from us real estate wise in 2025. Because if you do, we're booking up our follow-up calls and appointments for that year already. Simple as that. Okay. So people are going to say yes or no. You're asking them what their plans are for 2025. I continue that script, after New Year's. The same person sent me a message saying, what about the 31st and 1st? If you call me on the 1st, I'm going to whoop your butt. Like, that's as simple as that. The 1st to me is like that epic beginning. Okay. It's like January 1st. I have this weird philosophy that whatever you do on the 1st, how you start the year is how you end the year. So I'm like, don't be calling me lead generating. So anyway, that's kind of my concept with that one. So again, it goes back to this. It's just very simple where you're picking up a phone, if it's post, you just say, hey, you know what, Manny, it's Marianne. Happy holidays. How was your holidays? That's great. That's awesome. Well, listen, it's 2025. Welcome to 2025. And we're just calling everybody early in the year just to see, do you have any real estate needs that you're going to want us to follow up with you on this year? Boom. Nothing else. This is the script I'm going to record and I'm sending it out tomorrow, okay, to all of our coaching clients and their team members. But it's a very easy script, okay? Simple as that. That's one of the best, most effective things. But there is no objections to handle here. You have to listen though, okay? And you cannot do this by text. For the love of love, please do not do this by text, okay? Everybody ignores this portion, but I really don't want you using this over text message. So if you don't mind just actually avoiding doing it text, yeah, it's very simple and very effective. It's just a great script and it'll get you, like if you think about it, how much business is that going to get you? It's off the hook. But it's also like, it's very cool having people be like, hey, yeah, Manny, I'm with my family. Everything was great. Yeah, it was amazing. People have their guards down. That's what you want to do. If it's your farm area, they may not know you in a relationship basis to do that and be like, hey, how's it going? Would I door knock? I don't know. I guess I would. I think I would. You know what? On the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, why wouldn't I? It's a wonderful time. And, I don't know. It's maybe a little bit more exciting to door knock during that time period because everybody's going to be home. So why wouldn't I door knock? I think it's a brilliant time to do it. I just think that a lot of people don't do that. And like they're always complaining that they don't get anybody home door knocking. Well, it's a great time to go through your neighborhood and be like, hey, happy holidays. My name's Marianne Gillespie. I live in the area. This is my neighborhood. So between now and New Year's, I just like to go around wishing everybody a happy holiday season, but also just checking in as the local area specialist. Is there anything that you actually need from us? Is there anything that we can follow up with you on in 2025? I'd love to book an appointment. Very simple. It's like, well, done. Simple as that. So door knocking script could be really good for that too. So for follow-ups. Now, here's the other thing. If it's your farm area, like what I personally, like if it was me, what I would do with past clients. So here's what I would do with past clients. If you had a client who bought from you in 2024 or earlier, this is a good time to follow up with them during the holiday season and say, hey, it's Marianne. I just want to follow up with you, Manny. You bought a house from me 2 years ago. So I just want to say, welcome to 2025. This is, yay, and say, listen, what we're doing is I'm going to be emailing you a copy of a CMA, which is just going to give you an updated value of what your house is worth to this year. As we head into 2025, you want to know what the value is. So I'm going to send that over to you. Is there anything else you need from me before I let you go? It's very simple. And then send them out an updated 2025. And then just say, would you have any other friends or family that may need an evaluation as we finish the year off? So home evaluations are really big at the end of the year. It's like an anchor, right? What's your home worth? The home equity checks, 2024, if you had stocks or options, like would you check? Of course, you want to look at, how your year performed. And then boom, as you head into 2025, how's that looking, right? So I would offer that to my farm area. So, how I would do that, here's another idea for you guys. What you may want to do also, there's a couple things with those of you who run heavy online leads. So those of you who have heavy online leads or heavy email stuff or whatever, I'd like you to try video emails. I would really like to see you do a video email with a lead capture. To me, that would be very, very, very good. In the lead capture being like, if I'm doing a video email, I'm asking you a question, you have to react to the link. So something that I would do at the end of the year, let's say I have a ton of online leads. I would just say to everybody there, I'd say I would create something of value. Okay. Assumably, let's say that all of your online leads are first time home buyers, or you may know that you usually attract them from online leads. So like your theory is that a lot of these are going to be first time home buyers. Well, maybe what you want to do is do up a quick guide. I always say the duh because everybody says guide. And I'm like, no, guide. Do a quick guide, a one-page sheet where maybe you say, you have a guide done up where it says, what are the top, in 2025, the 5 neighborhoods for 2025, and give your perspective on them. And just do a quick video and say, hey, everybody, it's Marianne. Happy New Year. Hopefully everything's great. I did this really cool guide for you guys. It's my prediction, my New Year's prediction on what I believe the top 5 neighborhoods are in our beautiful city. So if you're thinking of buying in 2025, you want to click on it because I also go over what the last 2 years of price growth has been in those respective neighborhoods of those 5 areas. So if you have any questions about it after, make sure you let me know. And click on the link below and you can see my awesome report. Have a great holiday season. I'll reach out to you in the new year. Boom. Okay, you're going fishing. That's great follow-up. What you're doing with something like that is you're going into your database. You're saying, holy smokes, I've got all these online leads. Yeah, yeah, it is awesome. I always give you guys cookies for showing up on a Sunday night. I'm like, I'm not going to waste your time here. So the thing is like when you see how many people open them, which you should have in any perspective CRM, Fub, MailChimp, whoever, Lofty, you should see who actually opens them. So if you see who opens them and you jump in and you're just like, perfect, then you go after the people who opened it. Hey, Benny, it's Marianne. I just want to check with you. What did you think of the guide that you downloaded? Did you agree with the neighborhoods? I'm very curious to hear. And it becomes conversational. So I think it's like a really interesting thing when you look at those, like you're looking at how do I follow up with my online leads? That's how I would do it. How long does that take you? Probably 20 minutes at best. You know what? And then just don't think about it. Just send it out, have the link, test it before you send it. We sent out a dead link. Big mistake. You know what? That was a lot of emails that got a dead link. So you know what? The cool thing is a lot of people were like, the link's dead. I was like, yeah, that means a lot of people were reading. A lot of people were really pissed off, but a lot of people were reading. So anyway, so long story short, that's a great way to follow up with your online leads. We have so online leads, I would follow up with a guide, send out the video, email, and then I would do targeted follow-up to whoever opened and downloaded it, something very cool. Please do not send something that's so boring and generic. Like if you wouldn't open it, nobody's going to open it. But everybody wants to know, like, what do you think is this, right? Like, what are the 5 trendiest areas for 2025 according to Marianne Gillespie? Like, wow, that's kind of cool. They'll look into it, right? You can run it through ChatGPT if you want. Just my suggestion with ChatGPT is at least take a look at it and make sure that there's no major mistakes, because there was a couple in one of the ones that I ran with them. So you want to always double check your statistical information. Okay. So we've got your online leads follow up. We've got your past clients. You want to do the CMA, the market evaluation on that. Your farm area, you may want to do the same thing, but again, I would definitely check into your farm area by door knocking. I think door knocking follow up during those 4 or 5 days would be really awesome. And then, like I said, your friends, family, your core, your hundreds of people in your core, you should be doing that script where you follow up with them in that area. So that would be really good. Now, the other thing you want to think about as well is like, how do I follow up with people who are, who told me that they're thinking of, let's say, like a potential lead that said that they're thinking of listing in the spring. So how do I follow up those people during the holiday season? During the holiday season, what I would do with those people is I would say, listen, you know what? I would give them a full recap on what's about to happen in the first quarter. So I would just say, hey guys, it's Marianne. I'm just giving you a quick follow up. How was the holiday season? That's great. But I would also, by the way, I would say, would you guys mind doing me a favor? Yeah, okay. So I know that the house is probably going to look really good, right? Yeah. Here's just something I'd love. Would you snap a few pictures, like really nice, like Christmassy pictures of the house? Just keep them on file because when we list, I've got this really great idea that I'd like to do with them. I won't tell them anything about it. I just want to get, and by the way, I love Christmas shots in a house. Like it's just a lot of fun. Okay. So that's another thing that we do. So there's a lot of things that you can do when you're doing follow-ups with your database. And there's a lot of things that you can do when you're doing follow-ups with door knocking, when you're doing follow-ups with online leads, all of the above like that. The key thing that I would do during the holiday season, again, is you want to look at what direction you want to go. To me, that's why I said it's going to be shorter today. I wanted to fast track this. And to be very honest with you, I think that the easiest layups for anything is I want you to visualize this. When I go to bed on the 31st, I used to always, and I could feel it in realtors, they go to bed on the 31st and it's full blown anxiety. They're wondering, where's my business going to come from? What does the year ahead look like for the market? Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? What am I going to do? It's a stressful time. It's like legitimately stressful. I went through it myself all the time. You know what? And so it's like this, and it's okay. Like it's okay to feel that way too. I don't want to demean it. It's totally okay. When you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, knowing where your next paycheck comes from is a high level of anxiety sometimes. Okay. And by the way, it doesn't change for the teams that I coach that are 200 deals a month. It doesn't change for them the same way it doesn't change for others. Okay. So yeah, well, the 27th to the 30th is the best. So here's the thing that I'm just going to say though, guys, is that the level of anxiety I always felt going to bed, that was just like a really high level anxiety getting to New Year's. So my suggestion for you guys is that take a look and make a number in your head. If I knew I had, I don't know, 20 people that said follow up with me, because yes, in this month I'm doing something, September, August, July, April. Set a mental number in your head that you can connect with, that you would feel really good putting your head on the pillow on the 31st of December and saying on January 1st, you're going to wake up and you know you have these many people who said that they're going to do something in 2025. So that's how I used to do it. That's why I started doing the follow-ups, and that's why I couldn't not work between the 27th and 30th, because I knew so many people would be home. So many people would be home. I was like, this is just a no-brainer for me. I have to do this. So I jumped in, I did the call 27th to 30th, I hammered it out, I did what I had to do with that, and then I would say, okay, for me personally, I always personally like the number 21. It's lucky, and it really made me feel like in my head, here's what I said. If I had 21 pieces of business lined up for 2025, 50% of them would change their mind. Okay, so that brings me down to less than 10. Okay, so it would put me right around 10.5-ish. Okay, so I'd have 10-ish, for sure, that would do something. And at the time, it was about, let's say $7,000 to $10,000 per paycheck. So that's 70 to 100,000. Could I live on that? And I could. And I was like, okay. And if I worked really hard, I could get 10 more. And if I worked really hard with those listings, I could do great with the open houses, get 2, 3. So in my head, I was very much at ease going to bed on the 31st because I had a list of all of it. And believe it or not, it was always higher than the 50%. So I gave myself that 50% cut at 21 and said, I'd probably walk away with 10 and a half sales, 10-ish around there. It was always much higher. It was like 14, 15. It was only about 4 or 5 that battled the boat and said, I'm out of here. And changed their minds. So overall, I think that's one of the reasons why I think following up in the 27th to the 30th, by none. I mean, I have over 26 years experience and 30,000 coaching hours. I'm telling you, the 27th to the 30th, hands down, it's the easiest time to reach people. Easiest time, happiest time, most positive time. So it's just a really good opportunity for a lot of people to jump in and be like, this is, and again, it's a really smart time to be a lead generator. Okay. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So I think, and honestly, guys, I'm not going to carry it on any longer because I think that's really what I want to get across during role play is those epic follow-ups. Okay, just remember your goal is not just like your goal is to get a whole calendar full. By the time the 31st hits, you want to use all these scripts, use all these things, and have a full calendar lined up, ready to go by the time the 31st hits. You can do that. You're changing the way that 2025 looks. You don't have to stress out on New Year's Eve. You can go to bed and what else are you going to do 27th to the 30th? A coaching client, Chris Cipriani, I'm going to give him credit. Okay. I'm going to give him credit because this one did not come up with it. I'm a little jealous because normally I like to be the queen of scripting, but he kinged me, man. He was like, done. Okay. So here's what he said. Okay. So I love it. So here's what Chris said. I did a video a couple weeks ago and I got some people calling me Ebenezer Scrooge. Okay. I loved it. I was like, yeah. So my video was pretty much, I said, look, Christmas is like 2-3 days. I said, that's when I'm in the spirit. The 24th, 25th, and maybe the 26th. I'm like, yeah, maybe even the 23rd. We'll see. But I'm like, before and after that, I'm like, that's it. Like, Christmas is done. Right. And so Chris says, he goes, the best thing he said to somebody who told him, well, it's Christmas and it's not even December yet. He says, well, I'm just curious. We're entrepreneurs. We're realtors. He says, last time I checked, when does your job, your 40-hour week career, do you tell them you're not working as of now because it's Christmas? No, we work until it's Christmas. Okay. And that's just how it is because the market is up picking. So our job is to follow up. Wouldn't you want the highest level of conversion, the most amount of reaches, positive people? I mean, I don't want to call people and they're miserable. I want to call people and be excited. And the other thing I'm going to say as well, guys, if you have a Christmas event, do not mix these. I should have said that in role play. Don't mix your two things. So if you have like a Christmas cookie event or the office event, or there's something in the community or a skating event or something like that, do not mix the two. I am not a big fan of scripting when you're lining your calendar up. This is very serious. Like when I'm saying serious, I mean, we want to load up your 2025 calendar. I want everything in there logically. I want to have like whatever your appointment number is. If you want 10 follow-ups, 20, whatever floats your boat is what you're going to do. And what I really would, and by the way, it's about, I would say for every 18 to 20 people that you reach on the phone should be a follow-up. Okay. So that's the ratio that you're looking. So you need to speak to quite a few people if you want to get up to the 2021. Okay. So start earlier. Don't just wait for that 5-day period. Start earlier than that. Start maybe a week before Christmas and stuff like that. Right. If you want to use, somebody just sent me a private message. If you want to use the script earlier, yeah, go ahead. Like it's not going to sound weird. I mean, anything's acceptable, I would say, starting next week, right? You can just easily say, hey, it's Marianne, Kim, it's Marianne. I'm just following up with you. You know what? Before the holiday season hits, we just want to do our calls to everybody we know and love. And I just want to check with you and see, are you thinking of doing anything in 2025 real estate wise? Because we're scheduling all of our follow-up calls for the year. Boom. Very simple. And if Kim's like, yeah, I'm doing something perfect. Awesome, Kim. What's the plans? What's going on? And by the way, also, if you feel you should get in there, or somebody's renovating their house right now, they're like, yeah, I'm in full blown reno mode. Okay, well, why don't I come take a really quick swing by? It's okay with me that it's the holidays. Don't worry about that. But as I said, the 27th to the 30th is the highest, best use of your time. If you really want to just kind of get back into it, I know everybody wants to take 2 weeks off. We take 2 weeks off. It's just how we are. But I mean, you have to think I work pretty long hours. So I work all the way up until I think the 20th or 21st this year. Okay. So I'm working fairly late. Okay. So Tanya's got a question and then we're going to wrap it up if there's no others. Tanya says, husband asking for referrals if they aren't doing anything in 2025. Yeah. Like if you feel comfortable with it, I would. I mean, if you feel comfortable with it, why not? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it saying, hey, do you know anybody you should be introducing me to, that is thinking of doing something in 2025? Just throw it on at the end. I usually gauge it, you can feel it. It's like a smell. You can't feel it smelling like it's really nasty, but it's kind of like something like that. It's like, it's a sense that you have, right? When you're on a phone call with somebody, you're very intuitive to how the call's actually going. You can almost feel like, okay, this is going okay. I'm just going to, it's a very chilled out conversation. By the way, you know what? It is going to be a busy year. Is there anything that anyone that is thinking of doing something you want to introduce me to? I'd love the referral. I always just say that. That's fine. The other thing I would suggest is that you guys really should know some statistics about the market, because if people ask you, the number one question that I get asked all the time, and we start our calls fairly early because I am gone during that time period. So we start our calls like next week. And one of the questions I tell you, I'm always asked, what do you think the market's going to be like next year? That's the number one question you're going to be asked. So to be honest with you, what that's, before we bugger off here, be prepared, because that's the thing that's going to come up the most is, what do you think the market's going to do next year? And, in which case, just, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm kidding. I mean, obviously you want to be positive. So I'm always positive, always positive. So whether you're in Canada or United States, I'm just always positive about the market. I mean, we don't have a crystal ball, and I do tell everybody that. I'm like, we don't have a crystal ball, so it's really hard to predict exactly what's going to be happening. But I will tell you that we are seeing, and it's posted on RCa, it's posted on NAR, all of the above. But I just say things like, you know what? The Canadian Real Estate Association says that overall prices aren't going to go crazy. In Ontario, it's going to be 2.4% for the year, is what Ontario is going to look like. However, they are saying that we're going to have record-breaking sales. We're going to be at 27% increase in sales just in the first quarter. So it looks like a lot of people are going to be moving. That's what I say. So I'm very, very honest about pricing. I don't believe that pricing is going to go through the roof. I believe at the end of next year, possibly, but it's still way too early to predict that. And there's too much inventory for pricing to go bananas right now. So I think that's a very safe statement to put. But I would say that just be prepared for that objection, because that's the one that you're going to get consistently, is what's the market doing next year? And I think that could be a really, that could be a really interesting one to get stumped on.